All right, welcome back. Bengal is witnessing an all-out war over voter deletions. And as per the final list, over 91 lakh previous voters in Bengal have been listed as omitted. High drama has ensued as both TMC and BJP have knocked EC's door today, with a heated argument happening between Derek O'Brien and the Election Commission. We will first explain to you the overall deletions and the omissions specifically in Bengal, and then open this up for debate. And then, of course, we're going to speak with our guests and try and understand from them what they think. I'm going to go over to the big screen and try and tell you what are the numbers that have come in. So total deletions statewise in Bihar have been around 65 lakhs. The total number of voters as per the last count was somewhere close to 7.42 crores. Out of these, 65 lakh deletions have already taken place under the SIR. If you talk about Chhattisgarh, 25 lakh total deletions have taken place, and the total number of voters are around 1.87 crores in the state of Chhattisgarh. But 25 lakh deletions is not a small amount. If you look at Goa, of course, a smaller constituency, total number of voters are somewhere close to 11 lakh. There too, a little over 10% of the total voters were deleted, which amounts to 1.27 lakh voters that were deleted for various reasons. That is Gujarat, 77 lakh voters deleted, 4.40 crore total number of voters, and 77 lakh, which is around 15% of the total voters, had to be deleted or omitted owing to various reasons. Kerala again, 2.69 crores, 8.57 lakh total deletions have taken place since the exercise of SIR began. Madhya Pradesh, 5.5 crores, a little over 5.5 crore voters, and 34 lakh deletions have taken place. And this is, of course, being done by the Election Commission. And the number of reasons for these deletions are, of course, something that we will delve into a little later. Rajasthan, 5.15 crore voters, 31 lakh voters have been deleted so far, and these are big numbers. These are huge numbers that are coming in. Tamil Nadu, 42,000 total deletions so far, which is of course the lowest of the number of states that we have mentioned preceding Tamil Nadu. 5.67 crore total votes, number of voters in Tamil Nadu, which will be voting just in a few days. West Bengal, 91 lakh, perhaps the highest or the second highest number of deletions have taken place in West Bengal. They have a total of 7 crore voters, out of which 91 lakh voters have been deleted. In fact, Assam too has had 10 lakh deletions, with a total of 2.52 crore voters in the fray to decide the fate of the next government. In fact, I'm going to go over and get some questions in from my guests and try and understand what does this mean. Bengal, of course, has been the loudest when it comes to its objections related to the SIR. Joining us on the program at this point in time is Priya Sehgal, Editorial Director of NewsX. Mr. Nikhil Jain, political analyst, joins us on the program as well. Mr. Deshratan Nigam, a political analyst, with us on the program. And Joyita Basu, editor of the Sunday Guardian, joins us on the show as well. Priya, I'll begin with you. Well, of course, Mamata Banerjee, the TMC, absolutely upset. They're saying that this is not part of the accuracy that the Election Commission has been assigned to do. In fact, they are more into disenfranchising voters rather than including them in a fair and square exercise under a democracy like India.
Well, Vineet, the numbers do tend to, raise some kind of suspicion in terms of what the TMC is saying also, because the numbers are very large in West Bengal. So that too right in the middle of elections, literally, so the exercise, even if it is supposed to be carried in good intention, could have been timed much better. We saw what happened in Bihar, now we're seeing what is happening here. So lack of transparency from the EC side, lack of also access, and there's a lot of panic. We've have seen a lot of voters, rushing back, migrant workers who are in Delhi from West Bengal, for instance. Everybody is just rushing back. There's a lot of panic. People don't want their names deleted from the voters list, because that, of course, has a whole lot of other implications also. So this whole panic and the scare, and we also saw, in the whole exercise, what happened with the BLOs. We saw what was happening in Rajasthan and other states. There is, the whole problem is not that an exercise of this nature should be carried out, but the manner in which it has been carried out. There is total lack of transparency. That too, this whole rush on election eve. So the questions that are being raised, I think, do deserve some answers. Though, of course, in terms of Mamta being worried that just her voter list is being erased, we also have tales. We saw Shravan Das Gupta's name being erased, for instance. So there is, a whole lot of. It's not just the minority votes. It's not just the women votes. There are people from the majority community also whose votes are being erased. We don't have the numbers, of course, the equations such as they are, but there is a reason for some kind of suspicion to be there. I think is valid, especially in the manner in which this exercise is being carried out, Vineet.
Okay, fair enough. Joyita, in fact, the TMC and in specific Mamta Banerjee has accused the Election Commission of deleting 27 lakh legitimate voters under the guise of SIR, and the major dispute that the TMC has had, that these people who were deleted, they were a part of certain community. There were specific communities that were targeted. She also approached the Supreme Court regarding this, which also issued a notice to the Election Commission. Mamta Banerjee also went out to say that during a meeting with the Election Commissioner in West Bengal in February, she was insulted. And it's an indirect central rule, is what she's saying at this point in time.
Well, Vineet, I think you should also mention that Mamta Banerjee was also pulled up by the Supreme Court for all the drama she did over there at that time. And apart from that, the drama her party and her Attorney General, all of them have been doing ever since. Even I think last day, 2 days back also, the Supreme Court pulled them up over the Malda situation, where the judicial officers were gheraoed by miscreants, apparently. Although we have carried a story in the Sunday Guardian, a report in the Sunday Guardian saying that her minister, at least one of her ministers, was very much involved in the protest. She was actually sitting there and instigating the protesters. So you see, let us not go into what Mamta Banerjee is saying. Me being a Bengali and having a huge number of relatives, friends, acquaintances in Bengal, getting a daily report on what is going on in Bengal, well, I would say Mamta Banerjee should be happy that only 91 lakh voters have been deleted. We know what has happened in Bengal, and this is not just Trinamool's doing. This was actually started by the left. How did it happen that Bangladesh border, West Bengal's districts bordering Bangladesh, how did it happen that certain districts went from majority dominated to basically minority dominated? How did that kind of demographic change take place? So I'm not going to, of course there is politics, Mamta will create politics. But West Bengal, you see, the first thing that why is Mamta getting so worried about it? That is why, at least this time what is going to happen, lots of people have died. And the last thing was done in 2002. I personally know so many people who have passed away. At least this time they will not be voting. That is what happens in Bengal. That is the kind of rigging that happens in Bengal. From being from Bengal, I know what goes on in Bengal. Dead people vote. How is it possible? It happens. I mean, sitting in Delhi, sitting in any other part of the country, you will not even be able to imagine the kind of rigging that happens over there. So why is she crying so hard? And nobody, and that is what the feedback that I'm getting. It is nothing to do with Murshidabad. It is bound to happen that Murshidabad district has lost the maximum number of voters. Where is Murshidabad district? It is the district, one of those districts that has changed demography. Complete change of demography. We know the kind of infiltration that takes place in that district. We know what the left did. We know what the TMC government has done. Okay, so it is not a surprise, and there are so many discrepancies. No other state can even imagine what goes on in West Bengal. So when Mamata Banerjee cries all that, I always take things with a pinch of salt. As a Bengali, I know what is going on in that state.
Okay, all right. Nikhil, would you like to respond to what Joyita has said, that there are a few sensitive areas next to the West Bengal Bangladesh border, which for the lack of a better word, have a dubious distinction of being soft targets in terms of voter turnout, owing to certain communities.
Vineet, I'd like to point out a few basic facts. Ever since Mamata Banerjee became the Chief Minister of West Bengal, no official census has been conducted in India. So I don't really know how do we officially know which districts are Muslim majority and which are not. The last census data that I can check off is 2011, and according to the 2011 census, in the about 19 districts of West Bengal, only only one was Muslim majorities. No, three were Muslim majority, as I can see. Be that as it may, the fact of the matter is that the electorate was of 7.66 crore voters when this SIR process started in West Bengal. 91 lakh, which is 12% of the voters, have been deleted. 60 lakh voters have been deleted on the pretext of something called as a logical discrepancy, which is not the case in any other state that is going through an SIR exercise. And what is the logical discrepancy? Somebody might ask. So if my name would have been Nikhil Chaudhary, we all know that somebody spells Chaudhary as Chaudhary, somebody spells it without an A in the end, somebody spells it with an O, somebody spells it with a W. There are many, many variations. And if I have certain variations like that in my different documents, and I can tell you for my father also, my father's name, in some documents he has a middle name, in some documents he does not have his middle name, and that is how it is across the country. But what this SIR process in West Bengal specifically has done is removed all such people, which is about 60 lakh. Then the West Bengal government and Mamata Banerjee approached the Supreme Court, wherein judicial officers from outside the state were placed in order to decide on such logical discrepancies. Proper infrastructure was not provided to them.
But Nikhil, as I presented in my opening monologue, there are other states as well where similar exercises have happened. Why isn't there a furor there?
Because this entire idea of a logical discrepancy is only happening in West Bengal. The other states don't have deletions or exclusions on the pretext of a logical discrepancy. This is the primary problem here, which is why you have the grandson, great-grandson of the Constitution's illustrator, his name being excluded. You have a former BJP MP's name being excluded. So more than the point about Muslims and Hindus, this is a point about disenfranchisement of Indian citizens. And 27 lakh people have been removed on account of such logical discrepancies, and the decision for them would not come out before the elections, before the elections happen in the state. Are we really to disenfranchise over 2 million voters because they have some different document spellings? Now that is something in West Bengal alone. And let's not look away from the fact that of these deletions, about 50% have been Muslims, despite the fact that the state only has a 30% Muslim population.
I know what you're saying. Okay.
Now, and there are no answers that the Election Commission is giving us. The Election Commission is a regulatory body. It's a constitutional body. They should have been transparent. But what do we hear from the Election Commission? Pretty much what the BJP says, that there is so much problem of infiltration. Might I remind them that for the past 12 years, it's been the Modi government. This was never an issue until even 5 years ago. How come all of a sudden so many illegal immigrants have come into all the different states in the country and have all gotten voter ID cards and have all gotten Aadhaar cards, none of which are within the mandate of the respective state governments, and all of them are voting? The interesting fact in West Bengal is that the voter list for these 2026 elections is shorter than the 2024 voter list, the 21 voter list, and even the 2019 voter list. So are we saying that all those elections that happened, they're fallacious elections? Illegal immigrants and Ghuspetias and refugees were voting in those elections? I really don't understand this, Kannad.
Okay, all right. Bipin Sharma, senior journalist, is also with us on the program. Bipin, so essentially what Nikhil is saying that, the SIR has taken place in a multitude of states, but when it comes to West Bengal, the spirit, or rather the efficacy that has been exercised under SIR has been political in nature. Do you concur?
See, let me begin with the flip side of SIR. First of all, it is amply clear that if there are mass exclusions, then definitely the apex court of the country will intervene. And as far as the marginalized segment of the society is concerned, if if they are sidelined, then of course, again, it becomes a contentious issue. Now, now look at the positive sides, the positive aspects. Is cleansing not the need of the hour? Don't we need reforms in the system? And because when we say that, if illegal voters are there and, and the apex court of the country has validated, has empowered the Election Commission of India to conduct the SIR exercise. And on the one hand, when we say that everything has to go as per the norms of the Constitution, then we must very well, give it the due accord. But now the million-dollar question here is that why is there such a hue and cry about the SIR exercise being conducted in West Bengal? As far as timing is concerned, I will definitely go with Nikhil and the previous speaker. But then where do we begin? That is also the moot point. Somewhere a beginning has to be made. So it's a now or never situation, because let us not forget the political violence that the state of West Bengal was witness to in the last elections. So, in the backdrop of the Middle East conflict, these escalations, though of course a 2-week ceasefire is there, we will only pray that the election process in the 4 states as well as the Union Territory of Puducherry goes smooth, peaceful. But then the SIR exercise, I think that the ECI is well within their rights to conduct this. And then if there are mass exclusions, then definitely, the Supreme Court can be approached. And then as far as Form 6 is concerned, they have all the right. All those voters who think that they have been, there has been a prejudice or they have some sort of a bias, they have all the right to knock the doors of the Supreme Court or the other, the judicial bodies.
Okay. Priya, do you also think that, the volume of these deletions also makes it extremely hard logistically for any state government, to undertake a recourse within the time that has been stipulated for the SIR? In fact, when it began, that was another issue that, okay, you will be deleting a number of voters, but what about some sort of a recourse? Genuine voters could be deleted. How will they, in fact, get their status back as a voter?
Exactly, Vineet. Genuine voters are also being deleted. We've also heard people complaining about it. Genuine voters from West Bengal, Calcutta, whose names have been deleted, they're rushing back. But the time frame is such that even if they do, yes, they have the recourse of appealing or going to the Supreme Court, but not in time for voting. The elections, the crucial election, the votes will be cast on 23rd. The elections in West Bengal begin, so they will miss the chance of casting their vote, which is precisely why I raised that question of the timing of this SIR exercise. We do know how much the central government and especially the BJP is very keen to dislodge Mamta from West Bengal. Their whole campaign has been sitting there. BJP, this is the next state on their list, a state which is okay, political ambitions are fine, but now you're using staged machinery to help you get your political ambition. This is the point that Mamta Banerjee is making. Her going into court, her doing all that grandstanding. Yes, it was grandstanding. She has been pulled up by the court, but she is also, it has appealed to a whole number of her own electorate also. A lot of opposition leaders are saying, Rahul Gandhi, why aren't you raising issues in court instead of just sitting and doing armchair politics? That's politics. At the end of the day, the fact that this exercise is being carried out without giving those whose names have been struck off time for recourse. You may want to strike off whoever you want to. If you suspect a certain member from a minority community could have come across from Bangladesh and is not a genuine Indian citizen, fine. But give that person time to prove his case. Let him give him time to fight his case. That time is not being given, his or her case. That is the whole problem with the timeline that I was talking about. And just a minute, if I may deviate a bit, Vineet, this whole politics of distraction, for instance, why have a special session in the middle of elections? You want to have women's reservations, fine, but you could have done it either when the parliament was meeting or after the elections. To have a special session just when West Bengal elections are going on is another case in point of this government. So with this government, they plan things very carefully. There's nothing last minute or rush up. They have been planning this. So this is my whole objection to the way that this government is playing its moves. Is there is an attempt to bring in the central machinery, institutions to take forward a political agenda. That is my problem.
Okay, fair enough. Chaita, would you like to respond to that?
Vineet, why will I respond to anything, what one panelist is saying? But the thing is, you see,
okay, let me rephrase. What's your opinion on what Priya just said?
Oh, she can have another opinion.
No, let me put it this way. It's simple as that, to say that one party does it, one government does it, and everybody else, the Congress was not doing it. I don't think that is correct. That is the thing.
That's
about
not what I
power.
said.
No. I'm telling you, that's what power is all about. That is why political parties want power, so that they can use every institution possible to serve their own purpose. So if the BJP is doing it today, I'm certain once we go through history, there will be hundreds of instances where the Congress has done it, where whichever party comes to power, they will do it. One of the fact of the matter is that my objection to what Mamata Banerjee is doing is, you see, she is knowingly putting the security of this country at risk. You see, the problem that has happened is in the districts bordering Bangladesh. Vinita, I'm telling you, we saw what that incident, that Shah Jahan guy, whatever that is, Sandesh Khali, that whole border area, it has become like that. It is rampant criminal activities that are going on. Anybody from Bangladesh can walk into this place, and these people are this is a riverine border. Okay, as a result of it, so it cannot be fenced. And what happens over there, whenever the central government they have already increased that, area of their patrolling and all. Mamata Banerjee has a problem with that.
Okay.
Mamata Banerjee is refusing to give land. So at every step,
Nikhil wants to make a point.
Just hold on, Nikhil. I know Bengal better than you. I know what is going on. So don't try to play politics over here. So Vinith, I'm telling you something. So for when Mamata Banerjee, each and every step that the central government, the border security forces, anybody has to take, every step to take a single step, they have to go to court because Mamata Banerjee blocks it. So the thing is, what is this lady doing? Let her go around giving Garib Bhata and Lakshmi Ka Bhandar and whatever that keeps her in power, by the way. Let her do what she wants to do. Why is she doing it in a manner that is putting the country's security?
Okay, we have a paucity of time as well. Nikhil, 30 seconds to you, then we wrap up. Please hurry up. Nikhil.
Thank you so much. I seriously believe power is to use, not to abuse. This entire argument that any political party in power is going to use any institution to their advantage, and every party has done it. First of all, it is fallacious. Nobody has used the Election Commission in the manner that it is being used right now, number one. Number two, even if they have, it was wrong then and it is wrong today. This is not how democracies function. Number three, anybody can walk in across the border and Mamata Banerjee is supporting them. I don't think if she realizes that Mamata Banerjee is the Chief Minister of Bengal, she is not the Home Minister of India. Border security, border protection, preventing infiltration are all responsibilities of the Border Security Force and the Ministry of Home Affairs of India. So if the questions are to be asked for illegal infiltration, first they have to be asked to the Home Minister Amit Shah.
We'll get a lot of opportunity to talk about this leading up to. We've completely run out of time, Bipin. I apologize. We've completely run out of time. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of this conversation. We have to take a break. We take a short break. Be right back.